Hi everybody, it's Sarah. Long time no see. I'm back. And today's video will be on the Aries full moon, which is today, October the 1st, 2020, and we will cover how this astrology will ripple out for the entire month of October and beyond. That being said, this is my take on the astrology, and because of that, it may not resonate with everyone. And that's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, no worries, just pass it on by, and I do hope you find what you're looking for. So I've been gone. I'll put some information about the moon up here while I talk to you just really quickly. I've been gone because I've been on the road most of September teaching classes and safely seeing clients in person. And it unfortunately looks like I will be canceling the full moon Halloween event in New Orleans on the 31st, as most of the city is still struggling with a partial lockdown. I will definitely watch the status of the city, and hopefully in the future we can all get together and hang out, and also I can film some really wonderful videos in New Orleans, maybe some ghost stuff too. That'll be in the future. Love you, New Orleans, but yeah, it's not gonna work this time. Also, hopefully we can get back on track this month with, I have a whole slew of videos that I want to get out, starting with this one, and then we've got Mercury retrograde. If you haven't watched the Uranus retrograde video, I'll put a link up here. You definitely need to see it. That is in play until basically the end of the year. So we've got a lot of astrology happening. So let's just dive in. So the Aries full moon on October the 1st is the first of two full moons. The other will be obviously on Halloween. And because there's two in one calendar month, it's known as the blue moon. The blue moon will be in the earthly sign of Taurus. And if you look at it from Earth, it will not appear blue. Like I say, it's just called a blue moon because it's two happening in one 30 or 31 day period. What that tells us though is October is going to be one of the more volatile months of 2020. Yeah. And it seems like everything in 2020 has been brewing, and the water is boiling. And we're coming to that point now where if we don't do something, the pot will boil over. So having two full moons in the same month indicates a theme of clearing and purging, releasing what's not working, getting rid of the old ways that we did stuff, the old traditions, getting rid of all of that in favor of something that is more appropriate for this time and something that is fair for all people too. So there's going to be a lot of changes probably happening in October, and this energy will of course ripple on out to the end of the year and even into January and February of next year. If you would like to know how this energy will affect you personally, you can find me at Serenity. I'll put up my information up here and in the description box below. I am having a reading special this month. This volatile Aries full moon in October will definitely shake things up, both on a personal level and on a global level. We can also expect broken personal relationships to definitely be highlighted during this time too. You may be aware that some issues with your relationships just aren't working out, but for whatever reason you've been ignoring them, maybe hoping for the best, maybe not wanting to make major decisions during the pandemic. So I totally feel you. Yes, definitely. This is not the easiest time to be a couple or to be a family for that matter. But if we don't address things now, we definitely will see the situation get much worse. Pluto, which will leave retrograde a few days after the full moon on October the 4th, is going to be in this mix as well. And hopefully while it was in retrograde, you had a chance to really look at some issues in your life that you've maybe swept under the rug or didn't want to deal with and knew that you needed to maybe release them. Hopefully you took that time during the Pluto retrograde and faced that and processed it as well, because we're going to need that mental clarity to move forward. Part of the autumn equinox, which just happened a few weeks ago, and thank you guys, by the way, who signed up for the activation. This energy was a lot different than the Lionsgate activation, as this one was much more subtle. Time release, like a time release capsule. So this energy is still working and churning, and it's giving us a subtle push of energy from the equinox to assist us with birthing this new life. We had to first look at what wasn't working, and that's what Pluto highlighted, and then we had to come to terms with it. We had to make decisions, we had to release things, we had to reformulate our plans. Then we had to physically follow through with that And then we had to process, right, the energy of releasing these things from our life and starting over on new goals and possibly even new roadmaps forward. So it was a lot. And this autumn equinox energy, while subtle, was very powerful because it assisted us in moving forward. And it's still there. It's still giving us that little bit of energy to move us forward, to ultimately transform what isn't working into something better, into something that is right for you, something that will make sense in the future instead of something that's holding you back. So I think we can all agree that 2020 has been a year of years, to quote Riddick there, but this full moon has the power to amplify all of the tension, all the rebellion, all the heated emotions that are brewing right now on not just a personal level, but also on a global level. But I'll talk more about that in just a minute. On a personal level, this full moon can leave you feeling angry, antsy, rebellious, and likely to fly off the handle. Aries energy makes us feel more powerful, makes us feel more in control of situations and more self-confident, which is all good things, except when when these things happen, we're more likely to take risk. And because this energy also is working with the Pluto and the Mars energy, we're getting that healthy dose of risk-taking and self-confidence marred by, for instance, the Mars retrograde, which squares Saturn, which can lead us also to feel that the pressure of the months have been too much, and all the anger, all of the frustration, all the disappointment that you've pushed down are now bubbling to the surface. So it would be wise in October to really watch what you say and keep your temper and anger in check, as acting impulsively or lashing out will only make the situation worse. This will be an important time to listen carefully and think before idly speaking. Really watch your words, because this is a time of misunderstanding too, because guess what? We also have a Mercury retrograde happening this month. We've got all of this volatile energy kind of just churning. There's likely to be some personal drama with your family or your coworkers during this time too, as tempers boil, and people react both thoughtlessly and irresponsibly to real or perceived slights. Also, it's very likely that personal secrets will come out during this time, and this can cause people to react in a reckless manner and not really look at the bigger picture. Remember that getting caught up in drama is not a good idea anytime, but now especially, it's going to be very toxic for both your mind and body. So what can you do about it? Knowing that it's likely to happen is half the battle, because it also makes it easier to be compassionate with others during this time and more compassionate with yourself. Give yourself extra time. Don't overbook yourself in October. Don't plan events that were going to be stressful anyway. Save those for another time. And be compassionate with people in general. We're all in this together. And speaking of compassion, we will need a large dose of compassion and love on a global scale in October. And I know this can be a trying time. You may feel like your natural optimism is deserting you for the next couple of weeks, and your faith in yourself and your plans or aspirations may be put under a microscope because things just don't seem to be working out, and you may be feeling more restricted, and of course that's going to make you more restless too. So all of this building together can cause a problem internally. Now imagine the global citizens all feeling the same way, and you can see where things can get out of hand really quickly. That's why it's really important to remember there is no us versus them. We're in this together. Globally, we can expect more revelations in the news, which will lead to more social anger and rioting. Through compassion and empathy, we find our way together through unstable times such as these. And together, we build a better social structure. But to do that, we have to embrace it. So that doesn't mean hiding, and that also doesn't mean just getting mad and spewing rhetoric. We have to embrace this energy, and we have to learn to work with it in a positive way. This full moon is also linked to unstable Uranus, which, like I say, if you haven't already, be sure and watch that video. With this Uranus energy, we're also going to be pretty erratic, disruptive, and irritable. We're going to see more rebellion, more revolutionary stuff, and lessons like that ahead. But using some common sense, you should be quite capable of avoiding any damaging confrontations. You have more energy than usual because of this alignment, can put it to good use and take full advantage of it and channel it into some constructive, positive physical activity such as sports or dance or finishing some physical project. So while yes, you're going to be feeling restless and you're going to be feeling more volatile and more irritable, it's nothing you can't handle. All of this leads to a buildup of unstable, volatile, erratic energy. And honestly, you're probably feeling it now, and you've probably been feeling it for maybe 4 or 5 days. Yeah, and it's like something is coming. And I've heard people talk about, is it time to buy extra food? Is it time to, take your money out of the bank? And I think all of that is this energy. It's making people feel anxious or antsy. It's making you more aware that we are in a global shift. And it can be frightening. It can definitely be frightening. But know that you're going to be okay, because this is not the first time the shift has happened. This is just probably the first one that you remember or that you're conscious of, because it is a very strong one. So with this type of major shift, we can expect ascension symptoms, headaches, ringing of the ear, feeling restless, feeling fatigued, and also problems with sleep patterns. You may even feel odd or even have really crazy dreams during this time too. Old problems and people from the past or troubling situations may play out in the oddest ways in your dreams as your subconscious is working through these problems. It's always a good idea to grab a journal and write out your dreams. They may not make sense at the time, but writing them out will help lock them in your memory, and you can always revisit them. Some of the changes that you wish for and other changes are materializing, so that's good. But because of that, it can also be a very trying time because things are in flux. So once again, give yourself more time. Be more patient with yourself. Be more patient with those around you, because everyone is going through this energy, whether they're conscious of it or not. And the lesson that it brings is basically one of letting go and rolling with these changes. And I know as a fixed sign, letting go just seems irresponsible, doesn't it? It's like, how can you prepare if you let go? And there are times, because life is a cycle, so there are times in the cycle that we must plan and prepare. But there are also other times we must let go and stop trying to force situations. And this is one of those times. Events and circumstances are likely to change, and the best laid plans are probably going to fall through. You can try and hold on, or even have a temper tantrum, or you can stay flexible and adapt. It's really up to you. And obviously, being mad or angry over things not working out will only add more anger and frustration to the overall situation. There in itself is a lesson. So if you resist change, become arrogant or disruptive, you will probably suffer losses or miss an important opportunity. If you let your ego take over and become stubborn or overreact, you could suffer losses now and over the next few months. So really keep that in mind. The basic lesson of this energy is not to punish you or harm you or to make your life unbearable. The lesson is to look at your life and look at the things that aren't working and release them, because you're not the person you used to be. So this new person requires different types of relationships, different types of employment, different living situations. And that's what the energy is trying to highlight and show you, that these changes, while may be difficult at the time, are actually for your highest good. Mars squares Saturn, and with it brings delays, impatience, frustration, and self-consciousness to the surface. So we have that happening, as well as Mercury retrograde, which basically brings frustration, delays, drop communication. So very similar, right? So we're going to get a big double dose of that type of energy. This particular alignment is a strong influence on the October full moon, the Mars square Saturn, and it's showcasing what needs to be addressed. What is something that you know needs to be changed, and it can be something small or insignificant, or it could be something big, and it is something that for some reason or another you've chose to ignore. Well, it's being highlighted now because it's been building for a long time. Mars is also retrograde from September the 9th to November the 13th. And it could, while in retrograde, be subconsciously fueling your anger. You may not even be aware of how irritable and angry you really are. It can leave you feeling trapped, angry, anxious, emotional, because Mars wants freedom. Mars wants to go out and explore the world and conquer the world, and it just hasn't been possible with things the way they are. So you may be really feeling that in October. The best way to combat this is, of course, to stay grounded. Think before you speak and look at the big picture. You're not the only one going through it, and it won't last forever. I promise. It won't last forever. If nothing else, this does make us appreciate all that we have and all that we take for granted, doesn't it? So, okay, is there any good news? Yes, there is. Chiron, the wounded healer, will conjunct the full moon. Chiron is known as the wounded healer because it brings up old wounds to be healed, but its energy also represents the process of awakening and moving forward. As we awaken, we are able to make great strides in our own personal healing. So use this time to work on yourself. Journal, do shadow work, or any type of deep healing. Reiki is favored, of course, always. Use this time to let go of negative or harmful habits and look towards the future. You can expect old wounds in the area of self-confidence, self-assertion, how you view yourself, how you may have let the opinion of others direct your life to come up. And honestly, it's only by going deep within yourself and trusting the intelligence of your own inner awareness that you can begin to heal these issues inside you. You can come through this period of chaos and enter a new birth of understanding and trust in yourself and trust in the process that you probably can't even imagine at this point. But it's up to you, and it's up to you to create a situation or an environment where you can take the time to do this deep healing. This is a great time to let those negative habits go, and then you can say you came out of 2020 so much better off, right? And that's another point to consider. Where do you want to be in October of 2021? What changes do you need to make or put in place to get to that point? So don't be afraid of the future. Work to make it magnificent, because like I say, it won't always be like this. Aries moon energy lasts for 2 weeks up till October 16th, new moon in Libra. But this energy, because it's also connected to some of the other planets, will actually be rippling out for months at a time. The second full moon will, of course, be on the 31st, Halloween, and that is the blue moon. And I'll put the time up here too. This is a super rare treat to have a full moon on Halloween and have Halloween on the weekend where people can get out and enjoy it. Unfortunately, I know we can't really get out and enjoy it like we want to, but that's okay. It will make next year much sweeter, won't it? So yeah, we have a lot happening in October. We have the Mercury retrograde too, which I should be doing a video on that shortly. I also have some readings I want to get out. Let me know, do you want me to do October readings now while we're already in the month, or do you want me to concentrate on November readings? Would you rather know what's coming next month than now? Let me know in a comment below, okay? So it's great to be back, and I'm excited for all the astrology and all the new changes that are coming, and I hope you are too. And once again, thank you for watching this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'll see you shortly for the next video. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.